first of all, pay attention to this. Oops, wrong way. Pay attention to this. What's up, people? I'm Xogue, back on Halfway Modded, and yes, I am in creative again. I have to show you guys some things, okay? I've been working on something for days, all right? Days, multiples of days. So one reason the last episode was all about designing and getting your ideas is because I wanted to get this project done, and I've already told you what it was, so I don't know why I'm hiding it from you, but it was so difficult, okay? And I'm still not done with it yet. I might need your help. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know yet. I don't know what's going to happen by the end of this episode. But they do say, I do say, normally, go big or go home. And guess what? I am not going home. This is going to be our auto smelter. Okay? This is crazy. This is nuts. Now, the thing is, technically speaking, it does work. If we go ahead and connect this right here, and then we're like, hey, thing that is filled with other things, we need you to move. Actually, how am I going to move you right now? I kind of need, because, okay, the launch pad is what I'm missing. We're going to go over that in a minute. Right now, I just need to get it started. So we're going to do this just to get it launched. And that way you can kind of see that it does indeed work and how it works. Basically, it goes around in a circle just like so. All right, it just falls off the edge. Now, I was looking for a creative way to go up to the top again to wrap it around, but I couldn't. I couldn't figure that out. So instead, I just have a ramp going up the back, which is fine. But as you can see, it does make a complete circle. It keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. All right, and the fuel situation, actually, this is where I usually launch them from. I forgot about this situation. The fuel actually is the exact same thing, just a different track, right? So we'll have both of these guys going. I do not want them going all the time. I want to launch them. Technically, I can't have them going all the time because at some point I do have to right-click on these guys and fill them with stuff. And if they're moving, as you just saw, I did not leave that screen. It did. The game did because the cart got too far away from me. So I have to stop it at some point just so I can load this thing up. Originally, I had one row, and I was trying to do just the hopper version because the minecart version was a little difficult with the turns in here and everything. It all works out now, but it took me a while to actually get from the redstone version to the cart version. I like the cart version better. It makes more noise, but it's fine. And then I was like, you know what? Let's add more furnaces. And then, you know what? Let's make it triple level. And now this is basically the result of like a full day of just expanding the thing and making the carts go into a circle. Then I came to the problem where, like I was saying, I need the carts to stop. Now I have some creative solutions, and this is something I actually wanted to show you. This is pretty interesting, okay? If we do... The guy thinks coming around again. Okay, boom. If we do this, first of all, pay attention to this. Oops, wrong way. Pay attention to this. Okay, so the basic idea right now is that, let's get these because they look better and things are just better. What I want to happen, okay? First of all, sticky pistons, actually, and then redstone block, and then, okay? If we do that, they can pull powered rails. It's a thing they can do. But if we do this and then try to launch a cart from it, it doesn't work. These are not considered a full block, and therefore they can't do it. But, and this is the cool part that I figured out, if we instead do this and then put a little thing called a slime block in here, and again, that has to be empty. And this will have to be something that can't be moved, like a furnace. Then we can put the furnace in here. And then we put the rail right on top of that furnace. Then what we can do is this is a creative way, basically, to launch the cart, right? If we can actually pull back the rail, the cart... Actually, hold on. And then, oh, it can't put, oh, right, glass. I missed that. Okay. So, as the cart stands, the cart will go around in a circle, and it will actually stop right here. Which would be one way to do things, okay? It would stop right on top, right where we need it, and then when we want to launch it again, we just trigger a thing, and it'll move the rail right underneath the cart and launch it off again, because this is considered a full block in regards to launching minecarts, which is a very interesting thing. It's basically the only combination of movable blocks that I have found that will actually launch the thing. Because you need to both have a block here that is considered a full block to launch the minecart, like you just see, and something that's sticky that can pull the track backwards. So for this purpose, what it does, it's the only combination of blocks that can do it. Which is, I don't know, it's just pretty neat that I figured that out. Pretty proud of that, actually. It's pretty cool. Now, I don't necessarily want to use it for this purpose, but I think it's interesting nonetheless. So, the other issue, or the big issue, is not getting it to go around in a circle. Like I said, it's to launch it, and I don't know how to do that. My initial idea was that I wanted, let me see if I can actually, I wanted to basically, I don't know where, but I wanted to basically have 2 chests. Okay, maybe not one there, maybe one here, perhaps? Nope, click. What the heck, man? Look, I am on the chest. Stop opening the chest, I'm holding shift. Oh, right. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Now, it wouldn't let me place, in case you didn't catch that, it wouldn't let me place because this is a regular chest, and I was trying to put a regular chest next to a regular chest when it's already been double-ified. In version 1.13, that's actually changed. I'm loving the new snapshots because if you hold shift, you can actually place a chest next to a chest, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to vary it up with trap chests anymore, and it's amazing. It's fantastic. But we're on 1.11, so it doesn't matter. But my original idea was that I wanted double chests, okay? And I wanted these decoratively hidden, if I can figure out how to... I don't even know how, okay? I don't know how they would be decoratively hidden or anything like that. Just something so that all we see is the front face, or a couple of... Of course I can't open them because I'm a derp. Or a couple of chests, okay? One being, you know, fuel, and the other being things. While the other being smeltable items. And then I could use a series of hoppers, and for example, if I do this, the cart will stop right up here, in which case I could basically have... I know he's going to run right into it if I don't break this soon enough. Bow! In which I can do something like this, okay? And then the cart... Oh, it bounced back. I didn't catch that. It actually bounced. Oh, no, it didn't. Where'd it go? Did it stop somewhere? Was it never going? Maybe it was never going in the first place. But interruptions. But if you have these chests linked here, and we actually do have hopper ducts, so technically we could put hoppers underneath here and actually travel it up and go in. But however it is, if you're using vanilla or whatever, just, you know, imagine that these chests are connected to this hopper via other hoppers. And basically, if we have this pointed in here like this, and we launch this cart like so, and it comes back around in a full circle, at some point it will. It's going to take a minute, because I think it's cool just watching this thing go through its circle, and it's going to be amazing when it stops right now. Then any items you put into here will actually go into the cart here. Okay, so you can actually load it with a hopper like this. So as long as this hopper right here is just pointed here, it just stays here forever, then you can actually bring the items from a chest directly here and refill a minecart with chest, which gives you the ability to not only have one full double chest worth of items going into this thing and smelt a huge amount of stuff all at one time. Even though this guy is the size of a single chest, that's 27 stacks of items, and the chances of you actually doing all of that at one time are not really all that great. Technically, you could, in theory, make this very, very long and basically just pipe items in from a mass storage situation, something like this, and have 4 double chests of items going directly into this guy automatically. But that would assume that you can make this guy stop exactly where you want it and launch it. This guy You cannot do that. I don't even think I can place this under here. Can I do this? No, I cannot. I don't think it's even possible. Okay, doesn't matter. What I'm trying to show you is basically that the hopper will not launch the minecart. Okay, we can't even push it in from this side or the other side or anything like that. We can't launch the minecart that way. So I was having trouble actually getting a stopping point that we can then launch from. Now, technically, I suppose we could do something like just have this be a regular rail or some kind of similar situation like so, and then just power this block. But like I said, this guy can't launch it. So if we had him on a different side, if we had him over here, and then we had a block here, and then we powered it to launch the minecart, technically that would work. You know, but it's still a really difficult thing to do because we have to power this guy only once he's full, which requires a comparator and a detector rail. And if we have to have a detector rail underneath this guy, then that means we can't launch him with a powered rail if he's on top of a detector rail. So it's a very complicated situation. And it ended up being something I couldn't do. So I ended up canceling that idea. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I just need to get him to stop. If I can get him to stop, then he'll sit right here, and I can just right-click on him and load him in. But I want to launch it from somewhere, so that way I can control exactly where this cart is going to be when it stops, ready for loading. And that is kind of where I'm at now. I'm trying to find a way to let me launch the cart from somewhere with a single button press. So I have the buttons here in the inventory. I want to be able to hit a button and have the cart move and go across, which normally in a situation like this, it would work. But what the biggest thing I want to happen right now is, like I said, I do not want these guys to continue running endlessly. So my goal now is to launch it with this. So basically, in theory, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up with items. And I'm going to say, okay, I want these items to be smelted. Now, slime blocks being smelted? What? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just pretend it's cobblestone or sand or something. Now, these items I want to be smelted. I want to be able to launch the cart with a button press, have it go around and drop every single item off, and only once it's empty, come back and go over here. Now, what that means is that I need to have this guy rotate, which is totally possible if we add another rail in. There we go. So, by default, this is without any power. Let's go ahead and get a lever that I also have. Perfect. Without any power, you see power is off, it goes this way. With power on, it goes that way. So what that means is in order to launch this cart from this direction, I have to not only power this block to start it going, but I also need to send power to this block in order to make it go straight across. Because without it, it's just going to go that way. It'll go backwards, and then it'll come all the way back up and go this way, and it'll only fill up the bottom row, basically. And we need it to go along the top. So we have to power this block and this block. And not only that, but also we have to power this guy. And not all the time. We don't want it to go in turn every single time, because if we put this directly beside the track we want to twist, then it will detect the cart by itself, even when it's empty. The minecart with chests will always switch the track, in which it's an endless circle and we might as well not have any of it. So, I need to detect this by comparator, which tests the contents of the chest that's in the minecart, so we can actually determine when it's empty. And if it's empty, don't switch the track. But if it has a single item in it, this guy will light up. Just a redstone strength of 1. So we put a repeater right afterwards. It's pretty much required via, through a block or one piece of redstone or whatever. But basically, a repeater's got to be really close. Then that can be sent to here. Now, the problem with this, we're on the corner here. Okay, we can't power it from above. I mean, we got glass right here. So it's not going to be very easy. Now, on the real world, by the way, if you didn't know, this is not the real world. This is a testing world that I'm using here. This is not the real one, so don't freak out if you were before. Hello, glass. Slime blocks. Now, when we get to the real world, I can lower it down and then maybe we can power it from above. That is a possibility, and I'm toying with that. But in order to test it properly, I need to test it in this world to make sure it works. And that means I would literally have to remove all of this and rebuild it down a couple of levels. I suppose I could just remove the glass and just to see if I can make it work. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so I can't easily power it from the top. I can't power it from this side or this side. I want to avoid powering it from this side because this is the front face and we still need to decorate it. I need to block everything but the front faces of these furnaces. That's my goal, is to decorate it so that you don't see anything here but the furnace faces, and that's it. That's all I want to see. So that's my goal. So which means the only place I can power this is from below. In order to power a block from below, you need a torch. It's the only way to do it. You need a torch. And if I put a torch on there, this is always going to be powered, and we can't power it via this, which means we need two torches. One to power this block and one to turn that torch off. And then we can send this power signal into the double torch, which is then a delay of 2 ticks, 3 ticks with this, and we might miss it because the minecart actually goes pretty quick. So it's a very complicated situation. It's very difficult to do, and I hope I explained it well. And the other problem is that I can't go too far down. Why? Because if we go too far down, then we get in the way of this guy. I only have a couple of blocks to play with because we have to basically, whatever we do up here, we need to do it one more time down here. So not only am I combating all of the issues that I specified so far, but I'm also combating the issue that I only have so much room. I need to find a way to do this because that's what I want. If I can make it so I can move this minecart wherever the crap I want it, I'm getting a little frustrated, guys, because I've been working on it so long and I can't find a solution. If I can put this guy wherever I want it, launch it with a button press, and actually make it do the full circle like it's supposed to, and return only when it's empty, then I will be satisfied. I will be happy, and I can make that work. Okay, I can do that. And then afterwards, technically, after I do that, I can actually hook it up to a mass storage thing and have this guy kind of automatically work. The only thing I would need is wherever I put the chest is an automatic launcher once it's full. Only once it's completely full do I then launch it. It goes around its circle and comes back once it's empty and fills back up with whatever we have in there. Okay. So I know that is a huge amount of explanation, and you want to see some kind of progress. I am going to try my hardest to find some kind of solution that I can live with in order to make this work. And then, only then, will I build this on the actual server, and when I come back, hopefully it's functional. I'll explain how it's functional very shortly, very, very limited words, explain how it works, and then we'll work on trying to decorate this thing, if I can. This is going to be nearly impossible, guys. I just wanted to convey exactly how nearly impossible my task is. Hopefully this shows you the level of dedication that I have to this world. And it's also why on the real server, actually, no more of this is dug out. It's because I've been working solely on this guy. I want this to work so badly that it's unbelievable. I don't even need this many furnaces. I could chop it down to one layer and probably solve this whole problem without too much of a problem. But I really, really, really want this. For some reason, I want it to be above and beyond, because you guys know that I like that kind of thing. But we do need a lot of sand, or we do need a lot of colored glass. Not only for the roof here that we might actually chop out now that I have a new idea, which I'm going to get to probably next episode, maybe? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it'll require even more. The new design requires even more glass. So yeah, we need a lot, guys. We need a huge amount. That whole desert that I have over here, that whole thing's going to be gone. I'm going to dig out the entire desert at some point, I'm sure. Oh my goodness, but that's so much. Okay, I need to stop talking. Okay, let me get to work and see if we can actually get anything done today. Yes, we are still in creative, but as you can see, things have happened, and I figured it's better to explain it to you here than it is in the real world, because here I can fly and actually go around to all of the components very, very easily without any kind of decoration or anything. This thing is going to be very, very difficult to decorate. But yeah, we'll have to get to that later. I may not even finish that today. But this is all about getting the functionality of this guy done. So anyway, as I told you, the biggest issue that we had was the launch pad. I wanted to be able to hit a button, have this cart go and empty the entire contents of it, keep going around in circles over and over and over and over again until it was completely empty, 100% empty, and only then go back to its original starting location. And that needed to happen for both of them, which this guy's a little bit off as far as this is concerned, but if they make it past this little point, I can redirect the actual things to exactly where I want them, and it does not matter at all. This is just temporary slots. These probably will not be there when we actually build this in the actual world. I will have to do some finicky arranging and stuff to get them where I want them, but I can do that. That's easy peasy compared to what I just went through. Okay, so this guy, number one, it works, okay? He's going to go around a couple of times. He's going to do what he's got to do. He's going to go all the way around, down over here, drop down, and go all the way around, and then he wraps back around. And the big thing is that he continues around just like he just did until he is empty. I think he might go around one more time. 45 plus 45. What's that? I don't know. Is it more than 2 stacks? No, it's not. And one more time. This should be the last time, though. This should be the last time, and I believe he will go back. The next one will only do 1 stack, so you don't have to watch like 3 rounds of this thing. You'll only, well, I guess you'll watch 2. But as you can see, he goes back to his original starting location. This guy, again, is the same deal. Doesn't matter where it is, but I feel like putting in the top left slot is just kind of important. And he'll go around until, every bit of his component or stuff is then done. And he goes around a second time. Now, this should be it, and he should go back, and I know making you watch the fact that it does work is a little eh. But this is also extra testing. You always want to test it more than 1 time. So, yeah. And then he goes back to his starting location as well. And as you can see, they are both empty. Completely empty. And that's what we wanted. So, the first one, the top one, goes up. And the first thing is that this guy is not powered, but there is a double torch action in here. In order to flip the rail, we just have to depower this torch, which actually increases the access we have to the torch because all we have to do is power this line somehow. Or depower the line somehow, which I guess it doesn't expand the trigger, it actually moves the trigger, so we now have to power this line to turn off this torch to make that a thing. So we have to do that twice. We have to do that once if the cart is not empty, and 2, once it goes from its original starting location, it has to run over this in order to switch the rail in order to go in this direction first. And then every time it comes over this guy with items in it, it needs to flip it again. So the way we did that is obviously you have 2 detector rails, 2 comparators, both leading into the same block, turning off this torch, depowering this line. This block is actually raised. We could have had it down on the ground like this-ish, and just had like a redstone line here to make it a little more simplistic, but the other cart coming by would get stopped by this block, and it cannot go through that. That's how I had it originally. So instead of doing that, we have to go above it like so. And the only way this would work like so is if, actually I did say 2 comparators. This guy's actually a repeater. The only way this doesn't cause problems with redstone right here is if this guy is not redstone. We put redstone there, it's a burnout clock thing. So we have to have a repeater here, in order for that to not break. Sooner or later, that'll turn back on here in a second. It should. You do reset yourself, don't you? Fine, I'll reset you. Now, okay, so once that turns off by either of those methods, this comes down here, turns this torch off, or turns this torch on, which then powers this guy right here. So you, boop, it'll then move it over just like you see there. So that works there. Now the problem with this design is that it actually got in the way of this design. I could not do the exact same one down here because of the fact that this other stuff got in the way. The stuff from up top did. So what we have down here is a little bit different but similar concept. Here we have that comparator going into a block, shrinking down, going down here to turn on, or this torch powers this block, and there's another torch on the edge right here. You can kind of sort of see the bounding box of it, and that goes into this thing, turning this guy to where it needs to be over here. So again, the situation is that the cart needs to run over a detector rail, which switches this track in order for it to go straight, and every time it runs over this detector rail with items in it, it needs to turn this back over again. So that's what we have going on via this guy. So once it goes over here with items, this guy's powered, which turns this guy on, turns this torch off, turns this line off, which turns this torch on, and brings this guy and makes it turn. This one works by hitting the repeater into the same block that this comparator goes into, and does the exact same thing by turning off this line, and this torch turns off, or turns on rather, and therefore moves the rail. So it's a very complicated little setup thing that's going on here. Okay, it's it took me hours, and I know those of you who don't give a crap about redstone are probably going to skip through this and stuff, but I am very proud of this. Okay, I am incredibly proud of this design, and I don't know why. It's very dirty, it's very grungy, it's kind of just thrown together, and it's just like a Frankenstein of pieces of things, okay? But it works. And given all the problems that I have, I'm proud that I solved them all and fixed what I wanted to fix. Because with this, I can even go back to the original design, and wherever this guy starts off at, I can actually have, you know, develop some other kind of redstone circuit that auto sends this guy with a redstone signal whenever he is completely full. It would not be that difficult by comparison to do that. And then I could just have chests lined up feeding into this guy. So then I could basically I could have endless fuel and endless items to smelt, and we would have zero problems. Now, this whole entire episode was all about explaining this guy. Hopefully it doesn't bug you too much, but I did actually run out of time with it. Not only did I run out of time in the episode after explaining everything, but I also ran out of time in the day, because it took me so long to develop this daggone thing. I know, yeah, some of you will notice that it only says 3:30 up there in the corner, so it's not really like nighttime. It's not at the end of the day, but I have other things. I have a life, you know. So, yeah, that just no more time, guys. No more time. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm just blown away that I finally got this figured after like 3 days of solid work. Nothing but work. And it morphed into one row of like maybe 10 furnaces into 3 rows of 15, meaning 45 furnaces. We could smelt 45 items in the time it takes to do one. Just one item. It's just explosion. Mind blown. Like, this is going to be crazy, guys. This is going to be nuts. And once it's all finished in the next episode, I will go ahead. I might even have the design done. I'm not sure. Because I am very eager to make this look good if I can. And it's going to be another heck of a challenge to do that. But I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it'll be pretty good. So hopefully you guys are okay with, you know, an entire episode of nothing but creative mode in my creative world, designing a project like this. Oh man, but I felt it was important to bring you along that journey. So if you did like the video, please do hit the like button and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, peeps.